So what we're going to do is we're going to go over a lot of different information today, a lot of things that are very, very new to the world of SEO, and there's been just a ton of changes. So we're really going to talk about a lot of the major changes that have happened in Google and the world of SEO as a whole. And then we're going to talk about what are the new rules, what do we need to know, and basically what we want to get out of this is how to get Google to notice you and take the littlest of fish in the world's biggest pond. Because let's be honest, Google is the largest gatherer of information and data in the world right now. So we're going to talk about what the new rules are and how to get the most out of your website. So if you think about how do people search for goods, how do people search for what it is that they want, right? So you look at, okay, do people used to look at the yellow pages? Do people still look in the newspaper? And we're not going to sit here today and say, hey guys, you should abandon your yellow pages or newspaper or radio or cable or any of those other forms of media, because they all have their place. They all help you with branding. They all help with getting your message out there. But if it comes down to, hey, I only have so much money to spend and I want the best ROI or return on my investment that I can get, then clearly you want to go with something that gives a better ROI and something that's a little bit more measurable than just putting an ad in a newspaper and hoping you get some response. So we look at, do people search in magazines for what they're looking for? Do they look at different media for what it is that they're looking for? Are they looking on the internet? And the answer to that question is yes, that's the predominant place where people look for what they're looking for. If you poll anybody under the age of 55, they're going to tell you that about 90% of those people have a smartphone where they can access the internet. And there's even statistics out there of how many people that are homeless have a phone with internet access. So it's amazing to see how many people rely on the internet as their main form of searching for something. And if you look at the statistics, Google alone has 5.1 billion searches per day just in Google. That's not counting Bing, Yahoo, or any other form of, whether it be YouTube or anything. There's 5.1 billion searches done per day. And I just want that to kind of sink in a little bit as to how important it is. Your yellow pages guys are going to come in and say, hey, we get 5,000 searches a day, or 5 million searches a day, or 5 billion searches a day, because there's really no way of accurately measuring that. So what we're going to cover in today's webinar is why you need SEO. Okay, are you being found? If not, why are you not being found? Okay, what are the new rules and why do they keep changing? Right? We want to know, excuse me, why are all these rules seem to be changing every time we turn around? Google's coming out with a new algorithm. And then we want to look at how to, and the most important thing here is how to make your website be a sales tool to help your business grow. And for many of you, that may be generating leads, generating sales. For some of you in the nonprofit world or in a B2B type of, it might be just getting your name out there, or even looking for investors, or we get some people that are looking for donations. So it's how do we help your website be what you hoped it would be when you started? So a lot of times, we make the assumption that people automatically know what SEO even is. So we kind of want to take a step back here and say, okay, what exactly is SEO anyway? So the acronym SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. And the accurate definition is, at its heart, it is the process of affecting the visibility of a website or a web page in the search engine's organic or unpaid results. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So if we Google, let's say, we're going to Google a landscaper in Lancaster, if I could type right, PA, and we're doing this live search right now. Okay. Now, if you can look, there's going to be a map that's going to show map listings on the in your results. But then you see this little shaded area here. There's 3 listings at the top, and they're very lightly shaded, done intentionally, of course. And it says ads related to landscaper in Lancaster, PA. Okay, so these are paid ads. We're not. That's not what SEO is. We're not talking about these paid ads here, and we're not talking about these ads here because these are all also, if you see here, ads. And those are people that are paying Google, and it's called a pay-per-click or an SEM campaign, search engine marketing campaign, where people are paying every time someone clicks on those particular ads. What we're talking about is the optimized websites that list here in the organic rankings, which are normally known as the organic rankings here below, and those are the rankings that people are that people typically trust. Now, keep in mind, I should shut this off here. Hang on one second. Let me reload that. That little blue information is an add-on tool that I have for my search engine, so you don't need to see any of that information. That just gives me details about people's websites. So this is what you would typically see, and you see here are all the map results, and those are listed there on the map, and you could zoom in if you want some more specific areas. But these are the organic local listings that we're looking at when we're talking about search engine optimization. So if we go back to our presentation here. So the question is, why do you need SEO? You know, what is it about SEO that it intrigues people? Why do they want it? Why do they need to have better rankings on their website? Well, the question is, do you want your business to move forward or not? I mean, if you're gripping on traditional methods of marketing or old school methods of marketing, if you will, you know, it's sort of needle in a haystack. We talk about that all the time. If you're doing billboards and radio and cable, you know, you're throwing your message out there, hoping somebody stumbles across your message, as opposed to, you know, putting your message in front of people that are actively searching for what it is that you're offering. You know, when you Google, if you're a landscaper in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and you Google landscapers Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and somebody finds you, guess what? That's somebody actively interested. In the sales world, we would call that a hot lead, or at least a lukewarm lead at best, right? So you definitely can use SEO to grow and move your business forward. And instead of needle in a haystack marketing, we call it like needle in a sewing convention. You're standing there with a needle in your hand saying, I have a needle, who wants one? We talk about this constantly, but I want to reaffirm that you know, targeted marketing through search engine optimization, a good social media campaign, really focusing on your online presence is going to give you targeted traffic. Now, and that goes to our next question. Do you want effective quality traffic to your website? Of course you do. You know, you don't want people, if you're a, for instance, we're talking about Wolfgang Candy. I see Ben on the call. You know, if somebody's searching for candy or homemade chocolates or gourmet chocolates, you want them to find Wolfgang chocolates. You don't want them accidentally coming across your website because they were looking for a Wolfgang Puck recipe that they, you know, saw on a TV show. It's irrelevant traffic. You want effective quality traffic for the people that are looking for what it is that you have to offer. And then, again, you have a captive audience. Think of it this way when we talk about a captive audience and why you would want SEO. If you're putting your message in a newspaper, or you're putting your message in the Clipper magazine, and enough against Clipper, I love those guys, I know a lot of the people that work there. If you're putting your message into a coupon clipper of some sort, or one of those mail ones that come in the mail, if you're putting your message on, you're literally just throwing your message out there with everyone else, and you're hoping that your message is better than everybody else's message. But when you drive people to your website, the minute they get to your website, you now have a captive audience. And if you think about that, what better way? And the salespeople will say this all the time. They'll say, get the customer in front of me, I'll do the rest. Well, SEO, guess what that does? Gives you a captive audience. It gets them in front of you instead of someone else. So very, very important thing to look at. making sure you have that captive audience. Then the other thing is, are you considered the leader in your industry or not? We ask a lot of people, we say, who do you consider to be the leader in your industry? Well, we are. Okay, well, does your online presence reflect that? And should it? And a lot of times people don't know. You ask them, okay, well, do you know what you rank for? Well, no, I don't. So there's a lot of reasons why you would want to have SEO. And again, it's not about your business name. We get this a lot. People will say, Dan, I already rank for my name. And you'd be surprised how many people actually say that. And my response is typically, after I'm done rolling my eyes, is of course you should rank for your name. The people that are Googling your name are the people who already know who you are, and they've seen your website name on your business card, on your other forms of marketing. They may know your URL, and they're coming to your website because they already know who you are. And unless you have market penetration like Apple and Microsoft and Coke and Pepsi, I'm sure you guys don't have that kind of market share. You need to go after the people that are looking for your goods and services, not necessarily your name, because you're prospecting new business, right? So very, very important, okay? So the question is, are you being found in the search engines? Now, I know that almost everybody on this call today has a website. If you don't, you can call me afterwards. We'll be happy to set one up. We'll be happy to help you out. But for the most part, just about everybody has a website, right? If not multiple websites. I had a lady call me today. She has 4 websites she wants my help with. And really, if you're not happy with the look and function of your website, we ask the question, if you're not happy with the look and feel, do you think the viewer coming to your website is going to be happy with the look and feel of your website? Do you think that the look and feel of your website is going to attract more customers or detract more customers? Okay, and that's a big component, because the more people are on your website, the more Google sees that, and the search engines as a whole see that, and they will give you more traffic because they see that the visitors you're getting are sticking around. Now, if the visitors get to your website and they're not happy with the way your website looks and feels and functions, they're leaving. Google sees that you have what they call a very high bounce rate, and they're taken off. And then what winds up happening? You rank for fewer and fewer things, and it's this negative snowball effect, where what we're talking about here with SEO is building a positive snowball effect. It's getting all the right things in order so you build more traffic, people stay on your website longer, people view you as being the authority, you build popularity, and more people come to your website, and then it's this positive snowball effect. All right? So then other factors about are you being found is, are you getting the results you want? Most people on this webinar today, and most people that call us and talk to us about search engine optimization, they call us because at the end of it all, they really aren't getting the results they wanted out of their website. Their web developer said, oh yeah, we do SEO, and they think search engine optimization is putting a couple of codes in the back end of your website, and magically things are just going to happen and you're going to start getting traffic. And I know a lot of you that I've spoken to already, that is the case. Your web guy said, oh yeah, I'll make it. It'll be SEO'd when it's done. Well, we're going to go over that here shortly, but what you need to know is SEO is an ongoing thing. It never stops. And it's like, and I tell people, SEO, and I'll just pause the presentation for a minute. If you do SEO without marketing your website, okay, it's like, or if you do a website without doing search engine optimization and marketing the website, it's as if you went out and hired a TV producer and actors and actresses and got a fancy camera, and you shot this really elaborate commercial for your business. And many of you have heard me use this analogy before. And it's you create this great commercial, and then you burn it onto a disc, you put it on your bookshelf, and it never airs. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you never air the commercial, is it going to work? Are people going to be impressed by it? We have so many people that say, Dan, I really like my website, but I'm not getting any traffic. Well, if you didn't optimize it and you didn't build the authority in the site and you're not marketing the website, of course nobody's going to find it. It's basically an online brochure for your salespeople to direct people to. And that it's really not giving you the return that you're looking for. And then the last part about being found in search is, do you know what people are searching for? We get so many times, there's a lot of, the search engine optimization has become this sort of snake oil salesman type of industry where people get bombarded with emails and phone calls and telemarketers that are just pounding away at, let us rank your website. Or they'll come in and say, oh, your SEO company isn't ranking you for such and such a keyword. And it happens a lot, especially in the yellow pages and super media business. They'll walk in your door and say, you need to rank for and the reason why I use landscaper as an example is I had a landscaper that called me up. He's a guy we do search engine optimization for. And he says, Dan, I'm very upset. We've been paying you to do search engine optimization now for a year, and I looked up, my yellow page guy told me that I don't rank in the top 10 for the term retaining wall landscaper in Fairfax, Virginia. Okay, that's great, but guess what? No one is searching for retaining wall landscaper Fairfax, Virginia. So if nobody's searching for it, why do you need to rank for it? So one of the biggest keys that we're going to talk about today, as we get into this a little deeper, is finding out what are people searching for? What are the keywords relative to your business that people are searching for? Because to rank for the wrong keywords, you might as well not rank at all. And when somebody walks in the door and says, well, you don't rank for this keyword or that keyword, my first question to them is, well, do you know how many people are searching for that keyword? And is it something that you want to rank your business for? So we're going to talk a lot about why that's important as well. So every website, when it comes right down to it, every website has 3 audiences. Okay? And I'm going to talk about the first, I'm going to talk about the third, and I'm going to go back and talk about the second one. So the number one thing that your website audience is geared toward is your existing client, right? So you're doing all your marketing, and this brings up a point that I want to make with you guys. If there's one thing that you want to take away from this is if you look at marketing in today's society, you will rarely ever see a TV commercial that says, check us out on our radio ad. You'll never hear a radio ad that says, check us out on WGAL. You're never going to hear somebody, you're never going to see a billboard that says, check out our ad in the Lancaster newspaper. No. What do all marketing things point to? They point to 2 places typically. They point to you, meaning your brick and mortar business or your phone number, and where's the second place? To your website. And it's amazing how many people put so much time and effort into their building, into how it looks, where it's located, all of this stuff, but then they don't put any effort into their website. Meanwhile, it's one of the main ways that people see you as a business entity. It's the main way that people relate to you is through your website. And does that website represent who you are, or doesn't it? And if that's going to be the main focal point, if all your marketing and advertising is going to have your website name on it, shame on you for having a website that you're not proud of, right? So your website is the audiences for your website are your existing clients, right? And then I'm going to throw a curveball at you, the search engines, right? So and people go, Dan, well, the search engines are my audience? Yes, they are, and I'll tell you in a minute. Because without keeping the search engines happy, guess what, guys? You're not going to get to your prospective clients. Your prospective clients aren't going to find you. They're not going to be able to look you up. They're not going to find you when they look for your goods or services that you provide. They're going to find your competitors. So always keep in mind that your website has to serve not just the people looking, but the search engines as well. So, a lot of people ask me, Dan, that doesn't make sense. Can you explain that to me? Well, sure. If your website, it's very simple, guys. Ready? Here's how easy it is. If your website doesn't have marketing behind it, your website's not going to rank. Okay? If your website doesn't rank, you're not going to get traffic. If you don't get traffic, the website's not going to generate any leads. And if your website doesn't generate leads, the only people it's servicing are the people that already know who you are. And it goes back to, number one, the audience is your existing clients. Now, a lot of people ask me, Dan, you guys talk a lot about Google. You don't really talk about too much about Bing and about Yahoo and about these other search engines out there. Why is that? Well, here we go. Why Bing over Yahoo, or why Google over Bing and Yahoo? Well, here's the most up-to-date industry U.S. information about web statistics. In the United States, Google just is the king of search, in that 73% of the searches that are done on the search engines are done by Google. Now that number has dropped. It used to be about 89%. So Bing and Yahoo are growing. For those of you that aren't aware, Bing and Yahoo have merged their search data. So anything you search for on Yahoo is going to be the exact same search results as they are in Bing. But they are growing due to some marketing that they've done and some other stuff. So now, excuse me, there are a lot of people that get bombarded with Yellow Book, Verizon, Supermedia. There's what now? It used to be you had one Yellow Pages. Now there's like 5 of them, and they're all walking in, not even trying to sell you a Yellow Page ad anymore. What are they trying to sell you? A website. Oh, that's like it's like calling a plumber to do electrical work. Wait a minute. So let me see if I got this right. You want me to hire you, Mr. Yellow Page guy, to do my website? What? It just baffles me how many people actually will sit there and actually listen to what these people have to say. So when we talk about Yellow Page ads, people ask me all the time, Dan, what should I do with these Yellow Page guys? Okay. Well, here's 2 things that hopefully will make you guys laugh. Here's an ad done by obviously a special interest group. Dear Bell and Yellow Pages, we have a thing called the Internet. Please stop wasting stuff. And another one, this is an actual dumpster in a development down south. And you can see it's for phone books only, and the thing is overwhelmed with trash. So, and not trash, but it's phone books. So pretty amazing that, if you ask most people under the age of 50, they probably can't tell you where their Yellow Pages are, let alone, when's the last time they actually opened it up. But they do make a great booster seat for vertically challenged people. If you got anybody in your family that's not that tall, they are useful. Or if you have a fireplace like I do, you use it to start a fire. They're great. But anyway, guys, that's as good as my humor gets. I will just let you know right there. That's as good as it gets right there. So, what makes a great website for SEO? Well, a lot of people say, okay, Dan, I get it. I understand. You don't have to beat me over the head. I understand I need SEO. What does my website have to do to be great? Well, first of all, it has to have great content, right? If you're going to rank for, we have a guy that, one of our clients does hardwood flooring. Well, if you don't have enough great content about the different types of hardwood flooring, how they're installed, doing the maintenance, doing all that stuff, if you don't have enough information about that topic, how are you going to expect to rank for it and to have people come to your website to read about it? If you just have 3 or 4 pretty pictures, guess what? They're not going to stick around very long, right? you have to create what's called a great user experience. And this is a term that is fairly recent. It's more of like the last 10 years people have been talking about the user experience, to the point where larger corporations actually have a user experience person internally, and that's their job, is to create a greater user experience. And what we mean by that is, how do people perceive your website? And the greatest way to look at that is actually ask someone that's not even related to your industry whatsoever and tell them, can you please do me a favor? Go to my website and tell me, what's your experience when you get there? Is it easy to navigate? Is it easy to find what you're looking for? Is it easy to go on your website and feel like you've been well informed when you're done? Or do you just get frustrated and leave? Well, having a great user experience goes a long way in making sure that you have good SEO. Another thing is the right keywords. I would say about 90% of the time that we bring on a client that has had some exposure to SEO previous to contacting us, 9 times out of 10, as I said, they weren't going after the right keywords. They hadn't really done the keyword research. And their SEO guy walked in and said, well, what keywords do you want to rank for? Well, you're busy running your business. If I walked into Greg Esch and said, Greg, what roofing and gutter related keywords do you want to rank for? And Greg might have an idea of what keywords he wants to rank for, but hey, I'm the expert. I'm the one that's got to know what are the keywords people are searching for. And most people don't know the answer to that or don't know where to find it. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. But we're going to show you how do you find out what people are searching for, right? And then what else makes a great website? Letting Google see what your viewers see. Google is not they are not a person sitting in front of a computer screen looking at your site. Usually if it is a person looking at your site from Google, it's usually because you did something wrong and they're manually penalizing your website. That's never good. But more often than not, Google is just this big algorithm, this big supercomputer that is scouring the internet and doing what we call crawling the internet using what they call spiders. If you're arachnophobic, I apologize, but that's the term they use. The spiders go through and look at your website, and they're looking at all of the technical data of your website. So I'm gonna kind of switch screens here for you and show you what I mean by that. So if if I go to ssmucker.com, I'm going to pick on Greg here for a minute. We go to his website. Here's the Smucker & Sons website. Now, Google's not seeing these addresses and the picture and the video and all this stuff, okay? Here is what Google sees, okay? It's a bunch of code, right? They're seeing JavaScript code. They're seeing HTML code. They're seeing all the different code, PHP and all this jazz, all this stuff that if you're having trouble sleeping, you just get to about line 310 here, and you'll be sound asleep. Right, and that's what they're seeing. So, part of a good SEO campaign is making sure that Google is seeing what your viewers are seeing. So it's coding, doing the right coding. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. Making sure that Google is getting what they need from you, and then your popularity. A great website for SEO is a website that Google deems as being popular. It's like 7th grade all over again. We're going to talk about that in just a minute here. But it's about building, and that's where the marketing piece comes in, of making sure that your popularity and your authority is being built as your website's being built. And age has a big factor to doing that as well. If you're a new website and you just launched your domain, it's going to take you a couple of years before you enter the industry in any force, because you're kind of late to the party. But if you've had a website now for 5-10 years, usually the magic number with Google is anything over 2 years, but that number is getting further and further out as websites age. But they want to look at the authority and popularity of the site, and then also what makes a great website is your overall internet footprint. And I tell people, your internet footprint is like equity in a home. The more you have to build and build and build and build, and your equity is in your internet footprint goes beyond just your website. It's how many people are mentioning you on the internet. Are there any articles about you on the internet? Are there any blog posts on the internet? Are there any, looking at your overall internet footprint? We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. So we're going to break these down individually because they are very, very important. And then we're going to get into how the new rules are changing all of this, okay? So I know a lot of you are wanting to know what the new rules are. I'm going to get there, but I have to preface it with what it is that a good SEO website looks like and why before we get into a lot of the rules and regulations. So, the number one thing we mentioned is content, because content is king. I mean, it really, really is. And the basic is, if your website does not have engaging content that is well written, people are not going to read it or stick around. So I tell people a lot of times, look, read your content. Have someone else read your content. Have someone else read your content. If you won't stick, if you read it and you say to yourself, wow, that was pretty boring, or wow, there's really great information, or hey, that's pretty engaging, or not really so much. If you're not going to stick around to read your content, what makes you think that a prospective customer is going to stick around and read your content? And is it relative? Does it relate to your visitor? Or is your content very informational, or very, is your content more tech oriented? And a lot of times it has to do with, we tell people often, make sure that if your content is geared towards, if your prospective client is somebody that's an engineer or somebody that's in a very technical field, make sure that it has some technical nature to it. But if the average viewer of your website is a homeowner, or your average viewer of your website is somebody that might or might not be looking for your goods or services, then they're just the average consumer, then it needs to be readable to that level. And Google's definitely going to look at that. So, great content is going to give greater rankings. And as I just mentioned, Google's now measuring the readability of it. Okay? If you're in an industry that's going towards engineers and chemical engineers or people with doctorates and master's degrees, but it has the readability level of a 5th grade English paper, well, you're not going to get very good marks from Google. Okay? So you need to look at, is my content well written? And there's a term used to be used in the newspaper business. It's now something that has translated into the world of the internet. But we talk about above the fold content, and that is content that's above where you would have to scroll down. So it's what you see on the screen when you first get to the page. And you'd be amazed at how many websites you go to, and there's literally no written content other than the company name above the fold. So without looking and searching, you don't know who they are, what they do, where they're located, what's their scope of work, what's their geography or demographic. You don't know any of that information. You have to kind of search for it. Well, Google's saying, look, if your content isn't ripe and your content isn't great, getting people to your website and making them search for what it is that you do is definitely not a good thing. So they want to know, can I find out without having to scroll somewhere or look somewhere how I can get a hold of you, where you're located, and what it is that you do? Okay? So content is very, very important, probably one of the most important things in a great website for SEO. And with us, we will actually, in many cases, when somebody signs on for doing search engine optimization with us, we will rewrite their content on the pages that we're marketing for SEO purposes to make sure that that content is as great as it can be for the search engine. So the next part is creating a great user experience. okay? And that comes down to a clear, concise, logical navigation. And what we mean by that is when we go to your website and we have to look through your navigation, your About Us page and your products page and your services page and your testimonials page, is it clear, is it concise, and is it logical? Or do people have to hunt and peck and look for what it is that you're offering? Great user experience is about engaging the viewer and interacting, not just blurting out your sales message. Way too many times we tell people all the time, don't be too salesy, okay? Engage the viewer. Ask them questions. Get them, make them shake their head while they're looking at your website. Get them to shake their head, yes. Is this important to you? Is this something that you're frustrated with that we might be able to help you with? And people come to your website, they want to make sure that not only are you qualified to do what it is that they're searching for or provide the products or services that they're searching for, they want to know that you understand them and you want to give them that great experience of being able to go there and being able to interact with you and being able to feel like you understand them, as opposed to, here's what we have, buy now, free shipping, get 10% off, yay for us. And it just can't be all about a sales message, because eventually you just turn people off at that point. Okay? And the only way that, and I'll just kind of skip back here for a second, the only way having a consistent sales message on your page every day, all the time is acceptable is if it's an e-commerce site where people are coming there to buy something. If you have an e-commerce site and that is exactly what you do and that's all you do, then yeah, okay, that's fine. You can have a sales message there all the time, and you want it to be there because at the end of the day, you want the register to ring. But if you're not an e-commerce site, and I know a lot of you on this call are not, then make it interactive, engage the viewer, and make it simple to find things. Again, it goes back to that logical navigation. If things are nested and you can't get to important pages without going to an internal page first and then getting to that other page, that's a major, major no-no. You should be able to get to all of your pages from either a sitemap or your main level navigation, whether it be sub-nav or tertiary navigation, but it should be there. The next thing is, make sure your message clearly defines your scope of work and geography. It's probably one of the top 3 things that I see when people engage us for search engine optimization. We look at their site and we say, okay, your website's really cool. It looks nice. It has a lot of great information. But if I were to look at your home page, I wouldn't know where you're located, what's your geography. I don't know if you do work regionally, locally, nationally, globally. So it's not defining where you do what you do, and you'd be amazed at how many websites don't actually explain or get around to the point of what it is that you actually are doing or what you're selling. You're trying to be too cool or too hip or too stylish with your website that it never actually gets to the point of, hey, we sell roofing, or we sell, we're a chocolate company, or any of the people on the we're an architecture firm, and there's a lot of people on the call today that make sure that your message. I just had a meeting with Julie, Josh on the call today, yesterday about, okay, your front page doesn't say where you're located. There's no clear call to action. There's no way of getting a hold of you. And those are things that, as you build your new website, definitely some things to keep in mind. Now, the right keywords really do make all the difference in knowing what people are searching for. Okay? Don't assume that you should rank for a certain keyword phrase. And really make sure that your keywords match your demographic. Make sure that if your main focus is Lancaster, Pennsylvania, or your main focus is Pennsylvania or the Northeast United States, don't make your website look like you have a national presence when you're not going to field a phone call from somebody from Colorado. So make sure that those keywords match your demographics. Now, I'm gonna kind of go back to our our live website here so we can look at this is what we use to do keyword research, and this is data taken directly from Google. Google actually shares their search information in hopes that you will set up one of those ad campaigns where you're paying them for every click that people are doing. But it's a great way also to look at, okay, what keywords do I want to use for search engine optimization? So all you have to do is Google the word Google AdWord Keyword Planner. And you can see it right here at the top, Google AdWord Keyword Planner. And if you have a Google account, and we have plenty of them, I usually use my personal one, but it looks like I'm signed in for one of our statistics emails. But all you need to do is really kind of look at give Google an idea. You can either put in your landing page or your home page of your website, and Google can try to figure out what your website's about. Or you could type in a couple of things. So if we type in, let's do Wolfgang for an example. We're going to look at chocolate companies, okay? Chocolate manufacturers, gourmet chocolate. And I know one of them we looked at before was chocolate fundraising. Right? We're looking at fundraising information, and these are just a couple of things that we had talked about. And of course, I can't spell the word fundraising. It looks like fun raining. Okay, there we go. And then if you just hit Get Ideas, and you click on this little keyword tab, it's going to show me that there's 1,300 people a month on average searching for keyword phrase related to the word chocolate companies. 390 people a month are searching for chocolate manufacturers. 2,900 people a month are searching for gourmet chocolate. There's 110 people a month searching for chocolate fundraising. Okay, so those are the keywords I put in. And now here's a list, and they actually compiled a list of over 735 keywords for keywords related to what I put in. So gourmet chocolates instead of gourmet chocolate, there's 880. Gourmet chocolate brands, 210. Chocolate fundraiser, chocolate company. Okay. Best gourmet chocolate, chocolate bar fundraiser, and so on and so on. And you can see there's a huge, huge list of the different keywords related to their industry. So we can click add all 739 to our campaign, and then literally we could say, okay, we don't want a broad match, we want an exact match of how many people are searching. So it's going to change that. And if I click download, okay, check this out. This is really, really cool. This is one of the things I love about my job, is doing cool stuff like this, is Google will actually give you a spreadsheet. Okay. Yes, I want to review those later. Sorry about that. And they're actually going to give you, I'll get rid of all the columns that don't mean anything here. Okay. Now, here's all the different keywords that we just looked at. Okay. And you can see here's the average monthly searches that are being done in the United States. Here's how competitive those keywords are. So this is a big, a very, very important thing to look at in terms of, you know, if you're looking at getting into an industry that's ultra, ultra competitive, then it's going to take a while to get into, you know, to get your rankings up if you're a newbie and you just launched your website. So we look at keywords and we say, okay, what are the ones that are more important? So we look at gourmet chocolates, gets 880, okay, but gourmet chocolate, singular, gets a different amount. So if we let's sort this here, sort A to Z. So we'll use artisan chocolate, gets 590, but artisan chocolates gets 260. So about half the amount of traffic, just by it being singular versus plural. Okay. We look at box of chocolates or boxed chocolates. Box of chocolates gets 2,900 hits. Boxed chocolates gets only 320. So if you're creating a website, do you want your content to reflect the term box of chocolates or do you want it to say boxed chocolates? Okay, this is where we talk about keywords being incredibly, incredibly, incredibly important. So what we'll typically do is we'll tell people, okay, let's look at this list here. Let's sort it largest to smallest and see, okay, candy clearly gets a lot, chocolate, cookies, Nestle. Okay, and we could go down and see, okay, which one of these keywords that get a lot of traffic are worth pursuing in a search engine optimization campaign. So fundraiser ideas, dark chocolate, chocolate-covered pretzels. And you could see this is a percentage competition rating is a percentage. So if we look at it, 26% is a pretty low competition rate because candy's probably too generic. Okay, you don't want to rank number one for candy because people could be looking for something non-chocolate related. Chocolate cake recipe, are you really going to outrank Food Network and Food.com and all these other guys for recipes? But, and you look at fundraising ideas, okay, much better keyword phrase, but very, very competitive, something you're going to need to put a lot of time and effort in if you're going to expect to rank for that organically in the search engines. And you can see that as reflective of what this column here is suggested bid. That is the dollar amount. This should be, if I formatted this correctly, it would be dollars and cents. It is the amount of money you would have to pay every time somebody clicked on your ad if you were doing an ad campaign. So if I wanted to rank Wolfgang Candies for gift baskets because they had some really cool chocolate gift baskets, and we did an ad campaign in Google, every time somebody clicked on that ad, it cost them $3.42. Well, you better sell a heck of a lot of gift baskets if every time somebody clicks on that link that you're paying $3.42. So we look at sort of all of this information. And we take all this data into consideration to see what are the keywords people are searching for, how many people are searching, and then what is the competitive nature of those keyword phrases. Now, if many of you, which many of you are, if you are in a local market, that changes the keyword research significantly, because now when you're searching for keywords, you can't just say chocolate companies or chocolate fundraising. You have to say, okay, you have to add your region to it. So to use Greg as an example, if we put in roofing companies Lancaster, PA, or roofers in Lancaster, PA, siding Lancaster, PA, you'll see the numbers are much, much smaller, right? There's nobody searching for roofing companies Lancaster, PA, but there are roofers in Lancaster, PA, 50 people a month, siding Lancaster, PA, 20 people a month, roofers Lancaster, PA, 50 a month, roofing Lancaster, PA, 170. So you could see the different variations of all these different words, okay? So your yellow page guy or some other SEO company trying to kind of steal your business is going to come in and go, you don't rank number one for roofing companies Lancaster, PA, and you should. Well, no, you shouldn't, because there's nobody looking for it. And that's why we do this. Okay, that's why getting the right keywords is critically, critically important. So we'll get back to our little presentation here. So
Dan.
The next, yeah.
Dan, there's a couple of questions. You want to pop over to chat?
Yeah, absolutely.
Chat panel. Victoria and Clayton have a couple of questions there.
Sure. All right, let me. I like that. I just saw Derek's comment about they make a good fire starter. Clayton, how does Google know who the target market is? Well, it's based on search data. They're looking at, and what a lot of people don't realize is when you sign up for a Gmail account or a Yahoo account or an AOL account or any free email account, which just about everybody has, nobody reads the privacy policies. And what those privacy policies state is that you're giving Google access to everything that you're basically giving Google access to everything you write about, everything you email about, everything you have talked about in a conversation. If you don't believe me, I've even given this task to people a couple times of, hey, go in and start an email conversation with somebody about a completely obscure topic, purple dinosaurs, and I guarantee you 2 days later you'll see ads pop up on the side of your email inbox that'll talk about Barney coming to town, or some purple dinosaurs this, or pink dinosaurs that. So they're tracking everything that you do and who you're talking to, so they know who the target market is, and they're also looking at the IP addresses of everybody that's coming to your website. So history becomes a good indicator of who your visitors are and who your target market is. So, what we showed you in the keyword research is that those are direct search data that's being collected by Google of what people are actively searching for. So that's how kind of Google knows what your target market is. Victoria asked, how do I feel about content being on parallax scrolling sites? It's all below the fold technically. And Victoria, you're absolutely correct. Parallax scrolling sites are very, very difficult. And for those of you that don't know what parallax scrolling is, it's a new method of web design where you could put different layers that scroll at different rates so that you could create a different look and feel as you kind of scroll through someone's website. Now, with parallax scrolling, it is something that they're having a hard time SEOing, and a hard time. It really has to do with how you place the code on the back end, because you have to tell Google how to index the content in what order. So that's basically how that winds up happening. Ben, sorry to see you have to go. I did not mute my mic. Derek, can you still hear me okay? Can everybody hear me okay? Let's start with that. Rich, can you still hear me? Oh, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. All right, so Derek apparently, as we figured out, Derek's audio problems. Okay, good. All right, so we'll get back to our presentation here. So the right keywords definitely are very, very important for making sure that your SEO campaign is successful. So the next thing we look at is making sure, is your code up to par? Can Google see what they need to see? And we talk about the world of SEO, and we use this analogy a lot, and it bears noting that and you've noticed I've made some reference to referees blowing whistles and throughout the presentation so far, but the Google algorithm can best be described as, and the changes that Google makes in the algorithm, as a ref in the middle of a football game changing the rules. Okay, and we're going to get into that here in a little while, but there's a bunch of different rules. There's 200 different criteria or more that Google looks at in a website to determine how it ranks. And it's our job as an SEO company, or whoever you have engaged with SEO, to make sure that they're understanding how those 200 different things are factored in. Some have more weight than others. Some are viewed at or scrutinized more heavily than others. And some items are not that important but still factor in to some extent. So what we look at on your code, on the code end of things, the back end is your title tags. What does it say in the search engines? Your metadata, your meta tags, your meta keywords. We look at your alt image, the image alt texting, and this is a lot of technical data that I don't expect you guys to understand because you're not programmers, okay? Except for Victoria, I think you have a little bit of programming knowledge, but for the most part, everybody on this call is just about everybody on this call is not a programmer, so you're not going to know how to change title tags and meta tags and meta keywords and alt images, but they are important and something that you need to take to your programmer, your web developer, or to your SEO company and say, hey, guys, is this stuff up to code? Is this up to par with current standards? with current SEO best practices? And if it's not, how do I get it there? Okay, so you need to make sure your title tags are so long and so descriptive, your metadata is right. Image alt texting is very important because Google doesn't see an image, they just see a file name. And if that image is encoded properly so that Google knows what that image is of, guess what, folks? That image doesn't do you any good. But if you have an image about something of a product that you carry or something that you sell, like in Greg's case, if you have an image of some really cool looking architectural shingles for a house and it doesn't say architectural shingles in the picture somewhere, guess what? You need to tell Google what it's about or they're not going to see it. It's very, very important to make sure that your code's up to par. Video coding. Derek is very familiar with this and knows the importance of this firsthand. You know, again, same thing. If you're going to put a video on your website but Google doesn't know what that video is of, it really doesn't help you. You can have a YouTube channel and have all different kinds of videos up on your YouTube channel. But if there's no keywords embedded into the video, if the video is not coded properly, Google's not going to see what the video is about. Okay? It's just as much about what you cannot see as it is what you can see. Okay? We talk about popularity. Building the popularity and the authoritative nature of your site is very important in the eyes of Google. They're measuring how popular your site is or is not. And if you have multiple people in your industry, let's say we have 2 roofing companies in Lancaster, they both have similar content on their page, but one person has more people linking to their page than the other, and one person is actively involved in social media than the other, then that site that has more people linking to it and is more involved socially and has a bigger footprint on the internet is going to be deemed as more authoritative and more popular, and Google's going to give better placement to that website. So we talk about, okay, how does that happen? Well, the biggest and one of the top measures of popularity is the amount of links of people pointing into your site. People hear that word a lot, and there's a lot of negative feedback, a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people say, I don't understand what links are. Basically what links are is people pointing to – people have a website out on the internet where a link lives that points to your website. So when somebody clicks on that link, it goes to your website. So that's what they call an inbound link. You have links of people coming to your website from another source. That's showing you as being the authority for whatever it is they link to you for. In Greg's case, it might be roofing or siding or downspouts or something like that. So they're looking at all of the links that are pointing in your site. And how many people are finding your site informative? And they measure that by how many people are sticking around, how long are people on your website, how many pages are they looking at every time they come to your site, or are they just coming to your home site and leaving? Okay, very important. What your internet footprint looks like. Okay, we talk about setting up Google Alerts. Very, very easy. All you have to do is type in the word Google Alerts, go to Google Alerts, type in what it is that you want to get an alert for, and Google will send you an email every time somebody posts an article or talks about whatever it is you want to find out about. So if I'm Greg and I want to find out if there's anybody talking about roofing in Lancaster, PA, I could type in roofing Lancaster, PA into Google Alerts and tell them, I want you to email me every time an article is posted or somebody puts something on the internet related to roofing Lancaster, PA, and you'll get an announcement every time that happens. And you could set that up for all kinds of different things to see what is your internet footprint. You can put your own name in there, see how many times your name is being mentioned. Social media mentions. A big factor right now in the world of SEO is making sure that people are mentioning you socially. Do you have a presence outside of your website that isn't just about your website? Or are people talking about you on social media? Your interaction on the internet. Are you as a company and an entity out there talking to people on the internet, or are you just sitting on your website waiting for people to get to you? Okay? Blogs, forums, and articles are great ways of interacting on the internet and getting people to link back to you. Okay? So now here we are. We're going to get to the rules. Okay? And like I said before, it's like in the middle of a football game, all of a sudden the ref starts throwing the flag. And you're saying, wait, what's going on? And I tell people, SEO is like the worst Super Bowl halftime show in history. Okay? It's, all of a sudden what you did yesterday was working great and your rankings are good and your traffic is good, and all of a sudden Google changes the rules, right? A lot of people have heard these things like Penguin and Panda and Hummingbird and all these different updates, and what do they mean, and why did my rankings go in the toilet one day and they were great yesterday, and what's going on? Well, it's because Google keeps changing the rules. They tell you, they define what the rules are, you play by the rules, and then Google changes them, right? So the new rules and regulations, we got Panda, we got Penguin, the newest one that came out in August is called the Hummingbird update. And a lot of people say, Dan, what in the world do these zoo animals have to do with my website, really? And what it boils down to is it's about having a better website that isn't spammy. Okay? It's about making sure that all of the things we talked about so far are being done well. Okay? The Panda update was released in 2011, and it really focused on making sure you had quality content, no duplicate content on your website, meaning your website content wasn't copied from another place. Okay? Making sure your website has a trust factor, and they view trust factor in a variety of different ways, but basically saying, who are the people linking to you? Are they trustworthy websites? Does your website have a factor of people that are going to your website and trusting you as a source of good information? Making sure your website doesn't have too many ads. So they're looking at a variety of different things just with this one algorithm update. And to be honest, there's been 25 to 28 there's confirmed reports about it's roughly around 26 updates since 2011. And it used to be Google changed the algorithm twice a year. Now it's changing it twice a month. And then one week it's Panda, the next week it's Hummingbird, and 2 weeks later it's Penguin. And so there's a lot of different changes to these algorithms, and they're changing the rules of what is deemed good versus bad. Okay. Then came the Penguin update, which was first released in April of 2012. And it was really going after what they considered to be web spam. Okay, and web spam takes on a lot of different meanings depending on what industry you're in. Okay, and they're really cracked down on what was called over optimization, which I find an incredibly humorous phrase, because they're telling you, okay, we want you to optimize your website. We want you to optimize it. We want to make sure we can read everything. We want to make sure. So people went out and they hire SEO companies to optimize their website, and then they came out with this update and said, well, now your website's over optimized. Okay, well, make up your mind, okay? Do you want us to optimize the site? Do you not want us to optimize the site? And what they're trying to say is, if you optimize the snot out of your website and make sure all the title tags and meta descriptions and URL strings and all this stuff is perfect, but your content's still horrible, then you have over-optimized your site. You made your site well-optimized, but you're getting people to a crappy website. So you can over-optimize a poor website, and that's what the Penguin update was really trying to cut down on. We're also looking at keyword density. A lot of people would say, okay, I want to rank for roofing company Lancaster, PA, so I'm going to mention the word roofing company Lancaster, PA 15 times on my home page. Well, if you only have 5 pages or 5 paragraphs of information, you shouldn't be mentioning it 15 times because it's too much. It's going to sound like a third-grade English paper. You want it to have the right amount of keywords based on the density of words that you have on the page. So again, the Penguin update really cracked down on that. Then we're looking at the quality of your links. If you have a lot of links from unreputable places over the years, you're going to get penalized for that. And a lot of websites got hammered for having low quality links if they've been around a while and have engaged multiple search engine companies. So there's a couple clients, one of them is on the call today, that has interacted with other SEO companies prior to calling us, and those companies may or may not have been doing SEO best practices or building links into the site, and it really wasn't a big deal. And then all of a sudden this Penguin algorithm came out, and they had literally thousands of crummy links that were built into the site over the last 5 years that were artificially built to increase the popularity of the site and increase the quote-unquote authority of the site, but they were such low-quality links that Google said, no, we don't want these. These links aren't even relevant to your industry. So Google penalized a lot of people's websites, and even some people that are working with us, I mean, they've seen some down drops in their rankings because of these over time low quality links. So Google said, okay, we're going to let you disavow some of these links if you truly know that these links are not links you want to have in coming into your website. So one of the things you got to look at with that is, you can't control who links to you, but you can certainly disavow those links so Google doesn't count them against you. So there's been literally 5 updates since 2012, since April of 2012 on the Penguin algorithm. One not only a month and a half ago. So again, that's another one that's updating frequently. And then there's the Hummingbird update. Now, the Hummingbird update wasn't really as big of a major uproar in the world of SEO. It was released in August. It was more of a core update in how people search and how the search results are portrayed or given out. And it really focuses on the semantics of different keywords. So, and it's why we tell people now, don't be so worried about your keywords going up or down one particular way or another over 1 week versus the next or 1 month versus the next. But look at the overall traffic coming to your site, because Google is divvying up that traffic differently. And you're going to see if you do an SEO campaign around 20 or 30 keyword phrases, you're going to get traffic over hundreds, if not thousands, of different keyword phrases related to those core 10 or 20 keywords as a result of the marketing that you do with search engine optimization. So it's because of this semantical change in the algorithm called the Hummingbird update, where they're divvying up that traffic differently, and the keywords are going to be a little bit more diverse. So that's part of the Google Hummingbird update. It also had a big effect on local searches. So a lot of you that are on local markets only, the Hummingbird algorithm change did affect not really how local search is done per se, but how it's shown in the search engine. So you'll have a black bar across the top. You might have a map. And if you show up on the map, chances are, more often than not, you're not going to show up in the organic listings. You're just going to show up on the map. So they've changed how the local search is done, which is different from what it was prior to the Hummingbird update. So, and it's been, as I mentioned, a less major impact to most websites. So what does your website need? Really, SEO is broken down into 2 categories. The on-page optimization, that is the getting to the technical data of your site, the title tags, the meta descriptions, all that back-end coding. And then it's the ongoing marketing of the website. Help building the authority, getting people to link to you, writing articles, blog posts, going to forums, getting social markings, building the popularity and the marketing of your website instead of just having this beautiful website that nobody's getting to. Okay, so those are the 2 major components of SEO. On-page optimization, as I mentioned before, it's a lot of technical stuff, title tags, metadata, alt texting, internal linking, making user experience changes, content. Content's a huge part of on-page optimization. You could do all the title tags you want. You could do all the alt texting of images you want. But if your content stinks, your website's not going to rank. Okay, it is what it is. So we actually have a content writer that's her full-time job is just writing well-written content for people's pages. And then again, we talk about the importance of keyword research, and I showed you guys that earlier. It's knowing what people are searching for, knowing what you rank for, okay, finding out what your competitors rank for. If you don't know what you rank for currently and you don't know what your competitors are ranking for, call me. I can walk you through it. I could show you what you rank for. I could show you what top 5 competitors rank for and why. We'd be happy to go over that with you, but very, very important. Making sure your website and your content is reflective of the keywords you want, and making sure that those keywords are going to a logical page. Okay? If I'm Greg and I have a page about siding or a page about gutters, and I'm trying to rank for gutters Lancaster, PA, I want to take them to my gutters page. Why do I need to take them to the home page and then have them have to navigate away from that? So you want to make sure that the keywords are going to a logical page. Okay? Very, very important. So we do the on-page changes, we do the right keyword research, and then we optimize the content. Okay? very, very urgent part is optimizing your content, making sure it has the right keyword density, that it's well written, that it's unique, and most importantly, make sure that it's engaging to the customer. So now, this is where I do a horrible Yoda imitation where I say, market you must. It's very important that you market your website. And if you market your website, find it they shall, build popularity you will, authority you must have, and the force will be strong if you have good marketing. And those of you that are Star Wars fans might find a little bit of humor in that past slide. So marketing is very, very important for your website. So if you don't have SEO, we can certainly help you. We'd love to sit down and chat with you, show you what keywords are available in your industry, how we can do that for you. And SEO, we handle SEO in two ways. There's the setup to do the coding and the detail work behind the scenes, and then there's a monthly marketing. So the setup is depending on whether you have the website designed and hosted by us, or whether you've designed it or hosted it somewhere else, or if you're going after national keyword phrases. So it's either $100 a keyword or $200 a keyword to set it up. And then your monthly marketing with EZSolution, very simple. If it's local or regional keywords, it's $45 per keyword per month. If it's a national keyword, it's $75 per keyword per month, because it takes that much more effort and marketing and popularity building to get you there. So a sample plan would look like, if you're doing 10 local or regional keyword phrases, it would be $1,000 to set it up on an EZSolution built or hosted site, and $450 a month for the marketing. Or if it's 10 national keyword phrases, it would be $2,000 setup and $750 a month for the ongoing marketing. Okay. If it's 20 national keyword phrases, you're looking at $4,000 setup or $1,500 a month. So we just break it out as there's going to be a setup fee and a monthly fee depending on how many keywords you have. Okay. So that's what it breaks down to, and we're certainly willing to help you guys and help you write content and give you a list of things. I mean, if it's something that you want our help, we can actually create a bullet list of things, recommended site changes that we would recommend you make. If you're looking at redesigning your website, we can certainly help you with that as well and design it SEO friendly out of the box. So I hope everybody enjoyed the presentation today. I will check before we go here. I'll check and make sure that there's not any more questions related to the presentation. Does anybody have any questions for me about the world of SEO or anything that we went over today? I know we went through a lot of data and a lot of information. If you'd like me to come out and sit down with you and go over SEO and your website and give you an overview of what I think your website could use as far as SEO-related help, my email address is dmeyer, that's D-M-E-Y-E-R, at E as in Edward, Z as in zebra, the word solution, singular.com. So dmeyer at EZSolution.com. Or you can call us you can call us anytime at 717-291-4689, or just check out our website at EZSolution.com. So thank you everybody so much for sticking around, and we've got some great questions that came out of the meeting. Hopefully everybody learned something. And if, like I said, we'll be sending you out a follow-up email. If you'd love to sit down with us, we'd love to sit down with you. It costs nothing to have us come out and talk to you and at least explain how this could be related to your particular website. So if that's something that's interesting to you guys, by all means give us a call, or we'll be reaching out to you as well. So if we don't have any other questions, I want to thank everybody for coming, and have a great day.